ciberacoso y drama digital y discursos de odio. Somos amables y valientes. Para conocimiento de noticias y medios, somos pensadores y creadores críticos.
All right. So tonight I wanted to talk about how do we use media balance as a family and find quality content, set expectations in your home around your healthy use to prevent conflict and raise media savvy consumers and creators. We want your students to feel comfortable, safe, and confident in their technology use.
Nos gusta que cómo podemos balancear el uso de los medios en la familia. Buscamos contenido de calidad, estableciendo expectativas sobre el uso saludable de la tecnología para evitar conflictos y crear niños y jóvenes que sean consumidores y creadores inteligentes de los medios.
All right, so we all know that our students ranging from pre-kindergarten all the way to high school, they are using technology for wonderful things, but technology can also distract us, get us into trouble, all those things. So just to let you know, like we know that teens use an average of 9 hours of media daily, and that's not including school time. And those hours are pretty close for middle schoolers as well. And then we see them inching towards that for our elementary students. So that's why we're talking about that tonight, to help find that balance.
Hoy la televisión, la música, YouTube y muchas cosas más. En promedio, los adolescentes pasan como 9 horas con los medios de tecnología al día. La pueden usar para bien o la pueden usar para ver cosas que son apropiadas.
So thinking about your student and what are those red flags to be aware of. And some parents don't think about it or don't look, but we want you to help your student be aware of age appropriate content. Looking at public default settings, so if they have an account that it's not shared out publicly. Location tracking and sharing is a big concern. You don't want other people being able to track or locate your child. Avoid real-time video streaming because you can't take that back. Looking at the ads and in-app purchases that can kind of corrupt what the kids are doing with their money. Using those temporary pics and videos like Snapchat that kids think are temporary that can get deleted, but anybody else, once it's in their hands, can take screenshots and it's not really temporary. Reporting tools for like cyberbullying, if they don't have, I know my kids are into some online games, but we look at the reporting tools so that they can report cyberbullying or inappropriate behavior. We also want to avoid students using anonymity or not using their names or reporting who they are online for those types of things, because then nobody can track what's going on. And then of course, cyberbullying and that negative culture that can arise on any of those online tools that they're using.
En las redes sociales puede haber muchas cosas que son muy peligrosas. Entonces, pensando en su estudiante, a veces nosotros no ponemos atención y no miramos lo que están ellos viendo. Si el contenido es inapropiado o tal vez si están en público, quién los está viendo. También hay otras cosas que pueden enseñar el dónde está la ubicación de su estudiante. Eso puede ser muy peligroso. También dónde están, qué tipo de videos están ellos poniendo en la website o viendo en las websites. También algunas cosas como anuncios y compras de diferentes cosas, eso no puede ser muy apropiado según lo que los estudiantes estén viendo. Otra cosa que se llama fotos y videos temporales como Snapchat o cuando ellos creen que se pueden borrar, pero cualquier persona los puede ver y los puede guardar y luego los puede mandar otra vez en la website. También para informes inadecuados y anonimidad, es muy importante que los estudiantes estén poniendo saber qué es, en qué partes y en qué website ellos están visitando. Si no, ellos no ponen, no saben, no ponen su nombre, sus papás no saben, no pueden checar qué websites ellos han visitado. Entonces, también es importante que ustedes chequen qué qué websites los estudiantes están viendo. También acerca de ciberacoso entre menores y bullying, es una cultura muy negativa. Entonces, tenemos que ayudarles a los estudiantes a prevenirla.
So we just want to make sure that you're monitoring your students' use on these on what they're using with technology. Talking to them about reflecting before they post, before they type. That's one of the skills that you can teach your child, to not just quickly post something or post everything and everywhere, to really reflect on that.
Es muy importante que los estudiantes reflexionen antes de revelarlo todo y que los papás monitoreen lo que los estudiantes están haciendo y que antes de que ellos pongan algún mensaje, alguna foto, alguna cosa en el internet, que en realidad piensen dos veces si es importante que lo pongan y muchas veces es mejor no mandarlo.
Talking to your students about how they are acting and treating others online. Sometimes we know that it's easier to type out something when you're mad, but then that goes out and it can be harmful. I know that sometimes when texting, something that I meant to be a joke doesn't come out to be a joke on the other end. So it's never too early to talk to your child about being kind online and modeling that kind behavior when you interact with other people with texts and phone calls and Facebook posts and others.
Los teclados pueden hacerte descuidado y cruel. A veces los niños pueden estar tristes o pueden estar muy enojados y pueden mandar un mensaje que después lo vuelven a leer y el mensaje no es bonito. Y también a veces pueden poner un texto o alguna broma y ellos creen que es una broma, pero la persona que lo lee no piensa que es una broma. La mejor manera es que los padres modelen cómo ellos se comportan en línea con palabras buenas y antes de hacer mandar un texto, poner algo en Facebook o alguna llamada, los padres son los que les van a modelar a los estudiantes cómo ser kind, cómo ser buenos con los otros estudiantes y no mandar mensajes de odio.
Okay. We all know that students are going to probably interact with something that's not okay online, and cyberbullying is a thing that's out there, but teaching your student how to handle it when it happens, as soon as it happens, is important. And so we are teaching students to report abuse as soon as they see that happening. We are encouraging students to stand up if they see somebody being cyberbullied, that they are the ones that step in and say, hey, knock it off. Teaching students to collect proof, so taking screenshots, writing down usernames, what happened, and involving others, especially adults, teachers, parents, anyone, the whatever platform that they're on, reporting that, and then limiting their online access. So if it's a game that is a problem, so they stop playing that game or interacting on those platforms. So we want to make sure that students know that these are the steps that they can follow so that we can cut that right where it is and not let it get out of hand.
La mejor táctica para actuar ante el cyberbullying es reportar el abuso. Es importante que los estudiantes, que ellos tengan unas pruebas, nombres de las personas o quienes participaron, que tomen fotos y también que ellos lo platiquen con un adulto, con su maestro, con los padres y es muy importante que reporten el abuso. También hay que alentar el apoyo, que ellos cuando vean que alguien está reportando algo, un mensaje de odio, un mensaje que no es apropiado, que él lo comparta con los padres y que digan, esto no es apropiado. Hay que hacer partícipes a los otros
Sorry.
y limitar el acceso a las redes. Si eso está pasando en un juego, entonces los padres y el estudiante pueden decir, ¿sabes qué? Ya no voy a participar en ese juego o en esa plataforma para parar ese cyberbullying.
Thank you. So it's important to partnership with your child as they are choosing games to play, choosing apps to download, choosing things that they want to watch on their phone or their device. So helping kids make good choices and then give them the freedom to make those choices, but then check in with them to see what they're doing and chat with them. Ask them, was that a good choice? Is this an appropriate app? Was that a good video to watch? What did you learn? So really sitting with your child and having those conversations and not just letting them run free.
Es muy importante que los papás platiquen con los hijos y que platiquen entre los dos para que sepan qué es los hijos que están escogiendo. También hay que ayudarles a elegir, a tomar buenas decisiones. Hay que checar y monitorear constantemente qué es lo que están haciendo y le pueden dar la libertad de escoger algún juego o alguna plataforma, pero checar con ellos y entonces hacerles preguntas. Lo que tú escogiste está bien, ¿por qué no está bien? ¿Funciona? Y constantemente platicar con él si eso es apropiado, si eso es un buen video y estar constantemente en plática y en conexión con los hijos.
All right. And that's another place that Common Sense Media and the website, I really encourage you to visit the website because it can help you with ratings for video games, books, movies. It has kids reviews as well as parent reviews and tells you what's appropriate, what age kids should watch certain things. And there are recommendations. Of course, you as the parent can make those final decisions. But there's been many times with me and my kids, we sit down, we read the reviews, and we decide if we want to go and watch the movie or wait a few months or years, depending on what the reviews say. So I really trust what Common Sense Media lays out for me and helps me make those informed decisions.
Si pueden ir a visitar la website de Common Sense Media, es una muy buena website y pueden checar acerca de libros, acerca de movies, acerca de videojuegos y ver lo que otros padres opinan y cómo Common Sense Media está evaluando ese libro, ese movie, ese juego y después los padres pueden ver si eso es apropiado para su estudiante, si los otros padres lo recomiendan y tal vez si platican entre los padres y los hijos, entonces pueden tomar unas decisiones juntos a ver si es una buena decisión leer ese libro o usar ese juego. Es muy confiable la manera en que ellos evalúan los diferentes libros y videos y pueden checar ahí, pero los padres al final son los que toman la decisión de dejar que sus hijos participen en ese video o vean esa película.
Kelly, real quick, we had a question from one of the parents. They wanting to know if Common Sense Media also has reviews of YouTube channel movies or TikTok celebrities.
I haven't looked up either of those things. You might go ahead and do a search and see what you find. That's a good point. That's something that they might want to add on. I haven't looked at those things, but they might. They have a lot of information on there.
Uno de los padres estaba preguntando que si tienen evaluación en YouTube, videos y cosas así, pero nosotros no lo hemos checado, entonces ustedes pueden ir a la website que se llama Common Sense Media y en la parte que dice buscar pueden poner el nombre del video y ya les pueden decir si es apropiado o no es apropiado.
These are just some statistics that you can look at. You probably know many of them. We're just going to kind of move on to our next part. So talking about balance and how can you help your student make good choices for the media and videos and things that they're using and with their life. So looking at what they're doing with that information, creating, or are they going out and playing? So really looking at that balance, and you can be the key person in their life to help them make those choices.
Es muy importante ayudar a tus hijos a aprender a balancear lo que están viendo en la computadora y pueden ayudarles a tomar muy buenas decisiones y también ver qué es lo que los hijos están haciendo con lo que están viendo. ¿Están escribiendo acerca de eso o qué piensan? Pero últimamente los padres son los que más indicados para ayudarles a los estudiantes a balancear lo que están viendo en la computadora.
So thinking about, is your child physically healthy and are they getting enough sleep? Are they connecting socially with family and friends? Are they engaged with achieving in school? Are they pursuing interests and hobbies in any form? Are they having fun and learning in their use of digital media? So you're going to be looking for those things because we don't want them to just go back into themselves and just rely on their phones and be that little shell. So you're looking for those things.
Todo con moderación, porque como dice el dicho, todo en exceso hace daño. Entonces es importante preguntarles a su hijo o a su hija, ¿está físicamente saludable? ¿Está durmiendo bien? ¿Estás usando los medios para socializarse con sus amistades, con la familia? ¿Está participando en la escuela y está obteniendo buenos resultados? ¿Está siguiendo sus intereses y aficiones? ¿Está siguiendo algún hobby? ¿Se está divirtiendo y aprendiendo cuando usa los medios digitales? Esos son algunos de los puntos que los padres se pueden preguntar y pueden checar para ver si sus hijos están usando las comunicaciones y las redes sociales apropiadamente, en lugar de nomás estar solos con su teléfono sin comunicarse con otros estudiantes.
So one of the best things that you can do is model the behavior that you want to see in your students. Monitor what they're doing. Use limits, not lectures, to be upfront about checking their media use. And mediate. Be ready to step in if necessary, but let your teens especially make some choices on their own so that you can be there to support them and have them help them make better choices as they move forward.
La mejor manera es como padres dar ejemplo y ser un mentor de los medios de comunicación. Es muy importante monitorear lo que los estudiantes, especialmente los estudiantes de preparatoria y de secundaria, y es bueno ponerles límites en lugar de sermonearlos y ser honesto acerca de que los están monitoreando y que están checando en qué es lo que están viendo. También hay que estar listos para intervenir si es necesario, pero intentar darles espacios para que tomen sus propias decisiones. Platicar y limitar lo que no es bueno es importante.
Sorry. One resource that we have, if you click on the presentation tonight, you can download and print your own family media agreement, and you can edit and change it how you want to make sense for your family. But having a good conversation with your child about what your expectations are and why you're there to support them is always a good idea.
Es muy importante que tal vez lo puedan bajar de Common Sense Media. Ese es un contrato, es un acuerdo familiar sobre el uso de los medios y es una buena herramienta para que lo platiquen con los papás y juntos que tomen unas decisiones para ver que lo pueden ustedes cambiar de acuerdo a la edad de sus hijos, al grado de sus hijos y les pueden decir, esto es lo que nosotros esperamos y por qué nosotros esperamos ver estos juegos, ver estos programas, ver estos películas y para que los hijos sepan qué es lo que los padres esperan de ellos y por qué no pueden ver determinadas cosas.
All right. So I wanted to get up to the next section, which is going to be by Andy Domingo, but to talk about a tool that you can use. So we want all of that I just talked about in place before, so that you're setting those routines and establishing those limits for your students. But we do have a tool that can help you monitor what your students are doing. So I'm going to let Andy take over the next couple slides.
Thank you, Kelly. Great job on that first part, by the way. Like Kelly said, my name is Andy Domingo, and Kelly and I are both EdTech COSA, working in the district. So one of the tools that we do have is called Blocksi, and it is a tool that helps us to take a look at, monitor, and enforce the digital citizenship that Kelly was talking about. It has 5 different parts here. The first part, as you can see, is a parent dashboard, and that's available to all of you. We pay for the contract, but you, as parents, have a free access to it. But you do have to sign up for it, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. The second part is a classroom management system with audio and video, and that's for use by teachers. And while students are in class with them, either right now in elementary and in hybrid, or if they're virtual, teachers can monitor what students are doing on their computers while they're in class. Talk a little bit more about that in a minute. There's also content filtering for Chromebooks that go home, that are owned by the district. And there is a screening that happens. Anything that a student does on a district Chromebook in Google is being monitored by the Blocksi system. And it looks for certain flags, kind of like Kelly was talking about before. If there's any abuse, language around abuse or profanity, anything like that, or self-harm, it's going to flag that and let someone know in the district so they can follow up with it. And then the fifth part is an anti-theft and inventory system that keeps track of all of our Chromebooks.
Andy Domingo nos explica acerca de las diferentes herramientas que tenemos en el distrito. Una de las herramientas que tenemos se llama Blocksi y esa los pueden usar los papás. Tiene 4 partes. La primera parte es el panel de control de los papás para administrar el tipo de la pantalla. Es para monitorear que sus estudiantes tengan buena interacción digital. La siguiente parte es el sistema de manejo de control de grupo en el aula con audio y video. Ese es para los maestros. Cuando los estudiantes están en la casa o en clase, los maestros están viendo qué están haciendo ellos, qué están viendo en su pantalla. La siguiente parte es el filtrado de contenido para los Chromebooks y para el equipo que pertenece al distrito que los estudiantes tienen en la casa. El objetivo es también de ver si los estudiantes están usando lenguaje que no es apropiado, viendo cosas que no son apropiadas. Entonces, el distrito checa eso y pueden hablar con el maestro o con el estudiante acerca de por qué están visitando esas websites. Y la última parte es la seguridad del estudiante. En caso de que el estudiante esté poniendo algunos anuncios, mensajes que no son apropiados, también el distrito checa eso. Y en caso de que el Chromebook se pierda o tiene una cosa que se llama antirrobo y lo estamos monitoreando desde el distrito.
So first, I'm going to talk about how teachers use Blocksi. So when students are using a Chromebook from the district, and they're signed in with their OUSD.US account, teachers can monitor what students are doing on their computers. It's kind of like when students are all in the classroom, the teacher is teaching, but also walking around, making sure all the students are on task. So a teacher can see what students are doing, even if they are doing the right thing, or if they maybe have a YouTube channel over on the side or a game on the side that they may be playing instead of paying attention and doing their work for the teacher. So teachers can monitor that. The teacher can also share their own screen to the students so they can use it as a teaching tool to show a video, to show a website, or to show some type of work. The teacher can also send websites out to students to look at or block certain content that may not be appropriate at the time. Teachers can also restrict the sessions. So if they're giving a test, they can lock down the student's computer to only take the test so the student can't go and look up the answers someplace else. The teacher can also message the students and use video conferencing there too. And once again, that's only when the student is in an active class session. So only during class time, not outside of class time, can the teacher do these things.
Andy, real quick before we move on, parent is asking, do all grades get checked? I'm assuming they mean all grades, you know, from pre-K to 12. Are they all under the system?
Yeah, that's a great question. What will happen very soon? We'll be getting new student devices where all the students from K to 12 will have new Chrome devices that will be from the school and be checked out. When that happens, that will allow students from K to 12 to be monitored using Blocksi during class times, like I said. Right now, since some students are using district devices and some students are using personal devices, it doesn't work 100% across the board. Right now, it's only with district devices that are Chrome devices, not iPads. Did you get all of that, Maria?
All of it. Había una pregunta acerca, un padre estaba viendo que si pueden monitorear cualquier equipo, pero lo que pasa es que ahorita unos estudiantes tienen iPads, otros estudiantes tienen Chromebooks y otros estudiantes están usando sus teléfonos o sus computadoras de casa. Entonces, Blocksi nomás y el monitoreo nomás funciona cuando lo estamos haciendo en dispositivos que pertenecen al distrito. Vamos a compartir nuevos dispositivos y cuando todos los estudiantes tengan los dispositivos del distrito, entonces vamos a poder monitorearlos a todos completamente. Pero ahorita, porque hay una combinación de diferentes dispositivos, no se puede.
There are some other great questions in the chat. Do the students have to have a Chromebook from the school? We can't mandate that. We encourage that. For equity of access, we want to make sure every student has access to a computer. And a lot of families do have personal computers at home that may work. But we will have soon devices for every student.
Entonces, había otra pregunta que acerca de que si todos los estudiantes tienen Chromebooks de la escuela, nosotros quisiéramos que todos los estudiantes que necesitan Chromebooks, que tengan Chromebooks para que ellos tengan access, pero para que ellos puedan ver las clases y todo, pero ahorita unos tienen acceso en Chromebook, otros están usando sus computadoras personales o sus teléfonos.
Okay, so this app, Blocksi, is installed in the current Chromebooks if you have them from the district. Also, if you have a personal Chromebook and your child logs into their district account, then Blocksi will be able to access and monitor what they're doing. If they log in with a personal Gmail on their Chromebooks, the district Blocksi will not monitor them.
Si su estudiante ahorita tiene un Chromebook que es de la casa, pero si él entra a la website de nosotros del distrito, entonces Blocksi lo puede monitorear siempre y cuando él entra con su ID del distrito, pero si está usando un correo electrónico que es personal, entonces no lo podemos monitorear.
Thank you. Kelly, can you go back to the previous slide, please? One more. Okay, video conference. Yes, okay, we got all that. Great. Some great questions, everyone. So in addition to what you as parents can do, and there's a lot of, I'm sorry, what teachers can do, parents also, if you sign up for the Blocksi account, you can monitor your student's activity, your child's activity, anytime when they're using a district Chromebook at home. And you can set it up so if your children go to some websites or apps that you don't want them to, it will notify you by sending you a notice.
Si sus estudiantes están usando un dispositivo personal, pero si ellos entran con su identificación, su correo electrónico del distrito, los padres o los maestros pueden checar lo que el estudiante está haciendo. Entonces los padres pueden monitorear si los estudiantes a qué websites están visitando o qué aplicaciones están usando, y si se van a alguna website o a alguna aplicación que los padres no quieren que vayan, les manda un aviso, una noticia de que se fueron a una website inapropiada o están usando una aplicación inapropiada.
Okay. There's some great questions in the chat, so we'll get to those at the end. A lot of them may be answered as we go through the rest of these slides. So here are some more features for parents. One parent feature is you can actually shut down the child's Chromebook access to the internet at certain times during the day. So say they have a bedtime at 9 o'clock, you can turn off their internet access at 9 o'clock and have it turned back on at 7 in the morning. And that way you can control the streaming media or going on social media or gaming or watching videos, things like that.
Los padres también pueden controlar, pueden apagar el acceso a la internet usando Blocksi. Si, por ejemplo, quieren que su estudiante vaya a las 8 a acostarse, entonces pueden apagar el acceso a la internet desde las 8 de la noche hasta las 7 de la mañana, y de esa manera sus estudiantes no van a estar pasando toda la noche viendo Facebook o jugando jueguitos o viendo algo en YouTube.
Okay. Obviously, Maria makes her children go to bed earlier than mine, so. I'm under 9.
They get up very early.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So another feature is, as a parent, you can enforce a strict policy on certain websites and allow certain ones and not allow. So this example shows that the parent doesn't want their child going on Facebook or YouTube. So you can block that as a parent, but allow other ones.
los padres también pueden poner una norma estricta en algunos sitios web que no quieren que sus estudiantes vayan. Por ejemplo, pueden bloquear Facebook o pueden bloquear YouTube. Depende de lo que los padres desean para sus hijos, según como quieran poner sus restricciones.
Okay, here's a final feature available to parents too, is that you would be able to view the history of your child's web searching. You can see where they go and get warned when they go onto blocked content and they try to get onto that.
También otra de las funciones que Blocksi tiene para los padres es que les pueden dar toda la historia, el historial de donde los estudiantes, de todo lo que estaban buscando en el internet y recibir avisos cuando ellos están en algún contenido que está bloqueado. Les mandan un aviso.
Okay, so I think this is where I'm going to jump in and show you a real live parent portal, my own, because I have two students in Oceanside. And I do want to point out that when your child is logged into school accounts, there are many things that are blocked, like Facebook. But we know that students can also find things can come up on websites that slip through those cracks. So that this is just another layer of protection. So if you go to blocksi.net, and the students might see this, or you might see this if you go there, and you would just click as a parent. But Andy, did you want to tell them they have to, is this where if they click a parent, I've already signed up as a parent, so that's where they sign in and they request access, correct? I think you're muted. What happened?
Go ahead and show them the features, and then at the end, they'll show them how to sign up.
Perfect. Okay, so I have already signed in, and I'm just giving you a little notice that you'll get to see a little bit of what my kids were up to the last 24 hours, hopefully nothing too bad. But you'll see right here when I first log in, it will let me know if there were any blocked or warnings or red flags. So far we're good. I have two kids in the district and nothing was blocked. 196 sites were allowed, so that's a good idea. I have more than one student in the school, so I can click on the users and see them there. When I go here, I like to look at this Insights button, and this kind of gives me an overview of what they have been doing in the last 24 hours. And when I was playing around with this earlier, it was a little bit slow to load. So let's see, hopefully you'll get to see some data. Try again. Oh no.
Try again in 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I don't have the patience for 30 seconds.
Do you want to stop and let me show
Yes.
Go back to the other place so I can?
Yes. So blocksi.net.
La website se llama blocksi.net y ella ya tiene su account, ya está lista. Entonces ahí, can you go to the other screen where you see how many and where? There you go. Ahí ella nos estaba viendo cuántas websites visitaron, en cuánto tiempo las vieron y si se fueron a alguna website que no era apropiada. Entonces, eso ustedes padres en la casa, si pueden tener una cuenta de Blocksi, pueden checar y monitorear perfectamente todas las cosas que están sus hijos viendo, porque a veces están en la computadora y no sabe uno qué es lo que están haciendo.
Yeah, and just before the meeting, I was able to get some data, but it was kind of slow. But this is where your dashboard is going to be, and you'll be able to see insights of what your child has visited. It shows you a nice little graph of education, that they were on Google Classroom. And then for one of my children, it shows me lots of YouTube videos that he was watching after school today, but we could kind of forgive that. There was a lot of Hot Wheels watching today. So that's what I noticed. And I'm sorry it was working earlier, but of course we're here and ready to share, and I got nothing. Let me try one more time. Okay, there.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so this shows a nice graph. It shows kind of like he was on YouTube 42 times, Google, he was on the portal, Google Classroom, Aries, Zoom. So it kind of gives me a nice overview so I can see what my child was doing today.
En esa gráfica pueden ver lo que el estudiante vio, estaba viendo, fue a YouTube, Google, fue a Oceanside y les dan una vista general de qué es lo que su estudiante estuvo haciendo para que puedan monitorear y pueden checar si estuvo viendo en Google Classroom y ahí ven que estuvo en Zoom, cuántas veces fue.
And then if you want to dig a little bit deeper, you can click right up here to this web analytics. And we have some videos that we can share that walks you through these steps as well. But I wanted to see, okay, what were the YouTube videos that we were watching today? So we had some Hot Wheels things, spin tires, mud runner. So I can kind of get that picture of what my kid was watching today, but everything was allowed, so nothing too bad.
Ahí tienen ustedes, ahí se ve exactamente todos los ejemplos de lo que vio en YouTube y estaba viendo nomás programas de juguetitos de Hot Wheels, entonces todo está bien.
Okay, and you can get into, there's lots of things that you can click around and see. I'm not going to go through everything that he was on today, or at least the last 24 hours. I'm going to go back to the dashboard because there's another button that Andy talked about, and it was the access and time control. And so this is where you can create a filter. Let me see if I can do this one for YouTube. And this screen pops up, and I could set that I don't want him to be able to access anything after 9 a.m., but that would be 9 a.m. So we're going to go military time and go over here. And I do want to point out, you don't want to block anything during school hours, because if you block YouTube during school hours, there are teachers that use YouTube as an educational tool. So you don't want to be blocking things during school hours, Monday through Friday.
Pueden ver en esa pantalla que si ustedes desean, pueden bloquear a determinada hora. En este caso ya está bloqueando después de las 8 de la noche, está bloqueando todo. Pero asegúrense de que no bloqueen durante las horas de escuela, que no bloqueen YouTube o otras websites que a veces las maestras usan para educación para los niños.
So this would be at 8 p.m. I would block everything that he couldn't go onto YouTube. I prefer to keep our devices out of the bedrooms and they charge in a different place, but you could use this as a tool to help for your bedtime.
Pueden usar esa herramienta para a la hora de la noche que ellos no tengan acceso a nada.
Okay, so that's just a quick insight to what my parent portal looks like and what I can see.
Esto es nomás para que vean cómo se ve desde el Blocksi para un padre, cómo se ve esa pantalla.
So we have quite a few questions. First of all, does Blocksi work for other devices, or is it only good for Chromebooks? We had parents who wanted to know if they could set this up on cell phones or if it works on Macs.
Right, so Blocksi is set up to work with Chrome browser. Now, Chromebooks automatically have a Chrome browser, and they don't have Safari and Firefox and Edge and Internet Explorer. So if you have a Chromebook, it's with a district account, it's going to automatically work with that. With some other devices like Apple products, it does not work well with them, even if you're using a Chrome browser.
There is another app that could be used, and it's called Bark, but it's not free, but it's another app that we use in our district as well, and parents can have a parent aspect to that, and that will monitor personal devices. It's a completely different tool, but if it's something that you're looking for, it's just called Bark, like a dog barking.
Right. And Adriana asked a question, I thought, or she made a statement, I thought they were only allowed to log in with their school ID. On a district Chromebook, that's correct. Students can only log in with the district ID. But on a personal device, a personal Chromebook, students can log in as a guest or as a, with their district ID, or if they know your account as a parent, they may be able to log in with that too. So you're right though, with the district devices, they can only log in with their account.
Andy, there's a question in there that says, for kids that are using district devices, do they have to install the application, the Blocksi, or is already there, or how do you download them?
If the student has a district device, a district Chromebook, it's already loaded on there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if they sign in to another Chrome device with their OUSD access in the browser, it's in their browser already as well.
Oh, okay.
And then, Andy, also, a parent is asking, they went onto the Blocksi app and it's asking for a code. They want to know where they get that code.
Okay, well, I can talk about how the parents can sign up. So on this slide, there's a link for parent.blocksi.net/register_account. Or if you have this presentation open, you can just click on it. And so once you go there, Kelly, can you click on that for us?
Yeah.
It'll take you to this screen. Now the email at the top, that is the parent's email. And that email that you put in there needs to match the email that you registered your child with. The password is any password that you would like to use so you can access your Blocksi parent account. Then you put your first name, last name, landline or cell number, and then include the student's email address. So that's usually something like 100521@oside.us, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just click on create account. What that does is it actually sends me an email, and then I make sure that the student email in Aries matches your email as a parent, so that the parent is actually requesting it for the child.
En esta pantalla podemos ver, pueden ustedes empezar y crear su Blocksi, su cuenta de Blocksi. El email que ponen ahí arriba es el email de los papás y ustedes pueden usar la contraseña que ustedes quieran, pero es muy importante que el email que ponen ustedes es el email que nosotros tenemos registrado en el distrito. Por eso es muy importante que tengamos su email, el email que es correcto, que es el que estén usando. Y entonces Andy recibe un email y entonces él checa que el número del estudiante corresponda al email que tenemos y entonces puede crear la cuenta.
Thank you, Maria. And then I also put the link in the chat if anyone wants to just click on that to sign up. Let's see, we have some other, will Blocksi work with Macs? Blocksi does not work with Apple products very well yet, but they've told us that they're working on that.
Si tienen algún producto que es Apple, Blocksi no trabaja con productos Apple, pero hay otra aplicación que se llama Park, pero esa la tienen que comprar y esa la pueden usar para sus dispositivos que sean Apple.
And then we have a parent with their hand raised. I'm sorry, I don't have an ID. It just says Samsung Galaxy.
Yes, my name is Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hi, I do have a question. So if, what if I have another device other than the Chromebook that my child uses? Can I use this? Can I use blocks, or how would it work? How can I block, you know?
Right. That's a great question.
Right.
So if your student uses a different device, so like a PC laptop, you have to make sure that they are using Chrome and not Edge or Internet Explorer or Firefox. They use Chrome, and then they need to sign into it with their district ID. And then once they do that and sync their browser, Blocksi will be on there because it's on the district server, basically.
Okay, and then something else. I was gonna ask something else. Oh, can I download that app from my phone, or does he have to sign in on my phone so that I can be able to create an account? Because I'm usually at work. I work 6 days a week, so I don't have a computer of my own. We only have a laptop that he uses.
Okay, so you actually don't need an app. If you sign up for the parent account, it will send you an email.
Okay.
And then you can actually use your phone to go on, to Blocksi.net and sign in. So you don't really need an app. You just go online.
It's just on the website, and you can view everything on the website as well and log in and create your account.
Just like I do on Areas, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I need to have him log in to the school on the laptop.
Yes.
And then from the once he does that, I'm gonna look for Blocksi, and then I create an account on that laptop, right? I mean, not an account, but I sign in. And then once I do that, I'm gonna get an email, and I do check my emails on my phone, and then there's when I'm gonna create an account.
You could create an account now, and then you'd be able to see if he is ever on a school device or signed in to his Chrome browser with his school ID. You'd be able to see. If he hasn't been signing in, you just wouldn't see any data, but you still could start the connection now. So go ahead and you can click that link in the presentation or in the chat and create your account, and then have your student make sure that they're signed in properly to whatever device they're working on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. There's another great question in there. Does the history save, and how long, and is this what teachers see also? So I'm not sure how far back the history saves. I think it can go back all the way until we started in the fall using Blocksi. It's been collecting information. You as a parent can look back that far, I believe. The teachers, however, can't see the history outside of the class time. So if your child is going onto YouTube or Netflix or anything like that, outside of class time, the teachers won't see that. They'll only see the history during class time.
And class time can be any time during school hours, especially our secondary teachers are using it during office hours because they give assignments or assessments that they want students to complete. And so they might my students have a class from 9 to 10:20 or whatever, but they also, the teacher I notice will monitor from 1:15 to 2:15 because that's when they've assigned the homework. So anytime during school hours, the teacher can set those sessions up.
And then Veronica, I see you have a question.
Yes, I do. I'm kind of confused, but I think the other parent, was talking a little bit about it. So basically, this app Blocksi is to monitor the Oceanside school, what's it called? The kids OUSD portals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like connected. So for us to monitor something that you guys are being monitoring.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I think I do. And so, yes, Oceanside has purchased this to help teachers. It's a tool to help teachers with what they're doing in the classroom, especially with virtual learning. But a perk of it is we also can allow parents to see what their students are doing, because I know my teachers are monitoring my kids during the school day, but then you could see my own child after school had his fun watching YouTube. And so I want to make sure if I'm not home or I'm in meetings that I can kind of keep track also of what they're doing. So it's primarily for school, and that's why it only works on school signed in accounts. But we wanted to let you guys know that you also have this, especially because we will be having devices out for all K through 12, hopefully by January, that students will have devices that are school devices at home.
So are we gonna be able to alternate those restrictions that you guys put already, or that's after school hours?
Can you repeat your question?
So can we alternate, like I'll change a few things, because you're saying that you guys have something set already for the children, like you guys have blocked certain things. Can we do changes? Or does it have, or are we allowed to do changes only after school hours?
We recommend that you keep the changes for after school hours, because the teachers, only if the teachers have set up those block and allow, if they're doing assessments, and that could change day to day, what their permissions look like. And note that they are in the teacher's hands during that time, and the teachers are making those choices. If there was something that was really not important, not really something that you didn't want your child to be on, maybe have a conversation with the teacher to let them know.
Like mostly like I'm just mentioning it because they like to play this game, but it doesn't let them on the Chromebooks.
Right.
So
you can't override what the district has blocked. A lot of that's because of security and safety for what, as public school, we have to have certain things that, like Facebook is not allowed, those kinds of things. So you can't override that.
Okay, got it then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions? Real quick, Mr. Neely, I wanted to go back to your question about Common Sense Media, and do they do reviews on YouTube channels? And I went on and checked, and yes, they do. They have there are quite a few articles on YouTube, but they do do ratings of websites based on age appropriateness and quality. So they do have that feature.
Si tienen alguna pregunta y quieren checar a ver si algún canal de YouTube quieren ver si es apropiado o no es apropiado, pueden ir a Common Sense Media y ponen ahí nomás en la parte de buscar, y tienen ahí, los evalúan si son apropiados, no son apropiados y para qué edades son apropiados. Thank you, Debbie.
So we also wanted to just let you know that if you're needing technical support, that our service desk is open to students and families. The phone number is there in English and in Spanish, and their hours are 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Si tienen necesidades de asistencia técnica en español, pueden marcar el teléfono que está ahí, 760-966-4443, y las horas son de las 7:30 a las 4. Y también si tienen alguna pregunta, nos pueden llamar al distrito o pueden ir si necesitan actualizar su correo electrónico, lo pueden hacer en la escuela de su hijo.
And Deb, do we have time for me to go over the virtual learning page real quick?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and share that real quick.
Okay. So on the OUSD website, we do have a virtual learning page with other resources that you might find helpful. It has information on the tutors, our virtual tutoring website, video tutorials, and I'm looking for my special document, parent resources for virtual learning guide. This has all the how-tos, step-by-step tutorials in English and Spanish for all of the programs that your students might be using: Aries, Benchmark, Go Math, Blackboard, Chromebooks, Google Classroom, Google Meet, iPads, iReady, Seesaw, it's all here.
En la página del distrito tenemos una parte que se llama Recursos para los Padres de Educación Virtual, y todo lo que hemos hecho, los diferentes talleres para los padres están ahí. Pueden ir a esa página y pueden encontrar todos los recursos que necesitan, también de tutores o todos los programas que tenemos de Go Math o iReady o ID, Benchmark, Go Math,
Google
Math,
iPads at home, iReady, yep, all of it.
Todo está ahí. Si tienen alguna pregunta o no saben cómo usarlo, pueden ir a verlo, y ahí tenemos instrucciones en español para los padres y también tenemos videos.
And then Kelly, if you would mind, scroll down just a little bit. So also, parents, I want to let you know that all of these virtual family academies have been recorded. And if you go to this link for the OUSD YouTube channel, any of the ones that you've missed, you can go back and watch here, or also this one from tonight will be translated and uploaded probably in the next week or so. So if there was any information tonight that you'd like to review, you'll have that opportunity to go back and watch this presentation.
También tenemos todos los talleres de padres que hemos hecho, están ahí en nuestro YouTube channel del distrito, y si no quieren volver a visitar alguna de las talleres que hicimos, ahí están y todos están traducidos en español.
So that's it for our presentation this evening. We want to thank you all for coming. We appreciate the attendance. Great questions, and we'll stay on for a couple more minutes in case there are any other questions, but otherwise, thank you so much for coming. And Andy and Kelly, I want to thank you so much for your presentation and all the great information. And Maria, thank you for your interpretation tonight.
You're welcome.
Let's see.
Mateo, you said, did we cover how to connect our Blocksi account to your child's Chromebook? There is a link in the presentation, or if you just go to blocksi.net, there's a parent spot to start to create your account.
I just put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Are the services free, Kelly? They are free, right?
Yes, Blocksi is free. And it's Adeline, it's even free on the weekends. You can monitor Sunday through Friday, Sunday through Sunday,
24/7.
24/7.
I don't know why it has Adeline's name. I don't know how to change it. It always has Adeline's name instead of my
Okay,
name.
well, you know who I'm talking to. It's you.
It's nice seeing your guys' faces. You don't know how nice it is.
It's good to hear from you, Letty.
I miss all of you guys. I want to volunteer. I'm going crazy. No, I really appreciate, all of all the videos you guys are doing and all the chats. And I mean, I'm really excited. And the ones that I missed, I'm glad that you guys recorded them because I could look them up. So
Yep.
I'm really happy about that.
There is going to be another workshop next week. It's actually put on by Nixie, which is a special education partnership that we have in the county, but it's on self-care specifically for parents. And so I think it's a great one for all of us at this time, and just making sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we can be there and be our best for our children. You'll find that information on the district website. And I believe they just sent a peach jar notification out to all families this week. And we have another one in the works for after we return from break. Our elementary counselors are going to do another presentation. And this time it's going to be on handling your children's conflict resolution, and how to deal with your children at this time. So that should be a good one for all of us. I think we can learn a lot. So once again, we want to thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate your time, and hope you found this information useful. And probably won't see you before, so have a happy holiday, and everybody stay safe and healthy.
You
Happy
do the
holidays.
same.
Good
Happy
night.
holidays to everyone. Good night.
Thank
Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.